Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Today we discuss a Rolex Certified Pre-Owned Oyster Perpetual GMT-Master II. This is the 126710BLNR. Now it's the version of the watch that debuted in 2019, so current generation GMT-Master II. You can see it features the Jubilee bracelet. This combination, the Jubilee and the GMT-Master II, became available again for the first time in a while on the 2018 redesign of the model line. But for the next year, the black and blue, which first debuted on an oyster bracelet in 2013, arrived in conjunction with the Jubilee. So you have an unusual and compelling combination. So this was new for 2019, but the size is enduringly appealing. 40 millimeters in diameter, it's only 12.1 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, 48 millimeters if we're just talking the case. Now the end links of the bracelet extend it to 49.5 millimeters with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw this on my wrist, and again, for wrist shots, I briefly take off these non-optional gloves just so you can see my wrist. Now, it's a big watch, but it's not a huge watch. And you can see that it is inboard of the edge of my wrist on each side. So I would say you could wear this on a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference. If your wrist is any smaller, you're going to want to look for a smaller size. The watch is quite thin, though, 12.1 millimeters thick. Considering it's a dual time and an automatic and highly water resistant, that is admirably thin, and it will fit underneath most dress cuffs. Over the top always exaggerates the width of the watch, but you can still see the edge of the lugs inboard of the edge of my wrist. So a good fit on a wrist as long as the wrist is 15 centimeters circumference and up. Now we're going to take a closer look at the bracelet. The Jubilee historically was associated with the GMT Master and Master II through several of its initial generations, and it wasn't until the arrival of the 6-digit reference in the mid-2000s that the Jubilee went away for a while. So what we have here is a very modern take on the Jubilee. It's still a 5-link design, it still has short link cross sections, but now all of these links are solid. You can see through the center there are no more loop links or hollow links or folded links. The result is that although it is the dressier of the two primary Rolex bracelets, it doesn't lack for structural integrity, and I find that it actually vents the wrist better on a hot day than the Oyster. So you may find that even if you want more of a sports watch oriented GMT, you go for the Jubilee for its supple short link feel and the many ventilation gaps between the links. There's a conforming end link to mate the case and then a taper down towards the clasp. You can see removable links on both sides are fixed in place using screws, and then we've got the Easy Link system in the clasp, which is a 5 millimeter snap-in, snap-out tool-free adjustment mechanism. So it's great if you want to make an adjustment to the effect of about 5 millimeters, but you don't have the benefit of a spring bar tool. And if you do have the benefit of a spring bar tool, one more note, you can see that there are actually 3 pairs of divots drilled inside the clasp, so you can dismount the spring bar and change the anchoring point of the bracelet to move it around and make fine adjustments inside of the clasp itself. So you have the removable links, you have Easy Link, and then you have those 3 divots. The clasp features 2 locks. One is spring-loaded. It's a lever-like lift lock system, so you have to open it up. There's this beak, and then there's a hook internally. These 2 things latch together. That's the first lock, and then the second one is the clamshell with a little kerf beneath the crown so you can dig your nail in and open it more easily. Rolling around to the case, all this is made of Rolex's Oyster steel. It's 904L steel. It's a high nickel content steel that does not need to be rinsed after exposure to sweat or salt or seawater, and so it is more resistant to corrosion than even standard 316L stainless steel. So just something to keep in mind. We have sheer sides, we have squared off lugs, sometimes described as the super case. Modern Rolex sports watches almost always feature the super case, but we have satin on the top, polish on the side, we have a screw down crown, we have a screwed in Oyster case back, 100 meters water resistant. You know, you're looking at a triplock crown in steel because it has 3 symmetrical dots. The bezel features a combination of polishing and knurling, and it has a nice sharp knurling that makes it easy to grip even if your hands are gloved, and that's important because this is a pilot style watch. So we have this Cerachrom ceramic insert that's highly resistant to scratches, and then all of the numerals and the indices, that's actually PVD deposit of platinum, so that won't tarnish or discolor. Now the way this works is you start with the Greenwich Mean Time reference, which is this blue varnished 24-hour hand. This hand makes one loop around the dial every calendar day. Now we have a 12-hour hand, a 24-hour hand. They are independently settable, so it's a true dual time zone. All 4 hands are loomed, and if you want to use the bezel to calculate a third time zone, what you do is set that 24-hour hand to Greenwich Mean Time, and then if you're flying in or you're sailing into a port, if it's a GMT plus, then you start turning counterclockwise, and you can look at the local time at that airport. Or if it's GMT minus, then you turn in a counterclockwise direction, just like that. So that's how that works. So you can temporarily read a third time zone off the bezel. The dial is black lacquer. The indices in the hands are white gold. So just like the PVD deposit in the bezel, it won't tarnish or discolor. Taking a look in the dark, Rolex's Chromolite Blue distinctive proprietary lume. It holds its glow quite well through the hours of the night. And then inside the case, Rolex manufactured caliber 3285. So bidirectional winding. The rotor has a ball bearing for its pivot. It's a 70-hour power reserve, 31 joules, 4 hertz beat rate. The movement's a COSC chronometer, but Rolex goes beyond the chronometer standards to test the fully cased-up watch in 6 positions, and then to test it to no worse than -2 + 2 seconds per day. That is the superlative chronometer standard. You have the hacking seconds function to set it to the second. You have the 2 independent time zones in 12 and 24-hour format. You have a full balance bridge with a free sprung balance for shock resistance. Fine setting of the timing can be done with the micro Stella screws on the balance rim. That's long how it's been done with Rolex. The hairspring is an overcoil with a very centered mass, hand-shaped and breguet profile. It allows the watch to keep consistent time no matter what physical position it is in, and that overcoil hairspring is built out of niobium zirconium oxidized blue for stability, so it is a highly anti-magnetic hairspring, making this watch water resistant to 100 meters, highly anti-magnetic, and of course shock resistant thanks to the balance architecture. If you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase and pricing details. Rolex Certified Pre-Owned watches are backed and authenticated by Rolex. Should any reconditioning be necessary, it will be to a Rolex Certified standard, and any parts invested Rolex Factory Original. Should the initial retail box, paper, and accessory set still accompany the watch, it will be included with the sale. But no matter what, a Certified Pre-Owned box and paper set starts with an outer box, a leatherette travel pouch with suede lining, a warranty card that embodies the 2-year globally valid Rolex-backed warranty. Note, this is not a retail warranty, but backed by Rolex and actionable at any of its authorized points of sales and service. A leatherette wallet includes the warranty terms and conditions manual. A holographic hang tag marks this as a certified pre-owned Rolex watch, and a manual details Rolex's values as a company, the certified pre-owned program, care, feeding, service, and use of your Rolex, locations of points of sales and service, and details of Rolex.com. Rolex certified pre-owned watches are backed only by Rolex.